Hey guys, so today we're going to create a React app and set it up with styled components. And the reason we're going to use styled components is because it's just an easy way to see which components are linked to which CSS styles. So we don't want to separate our styles from our components. And if you're looking at a CSS file, you want to know exactly which component that it's affecting if you make any changes to it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you do is npx create React app and then the name of the app. And this is going to install all the packages you need to run your app. And then you're going to navigate to your root folder. Once you're in your root folder, go ahead and run npm start. And that's going to start your React app on your local host, probably localhost 3000, unless you have something else going on. So this is just the standard React app template that we're given. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our terminal and open a new tab and go into your new project, and we're going to open it up in VS Code, or you can do it in Sublime if you're using Sublime, but I just use code and then a dot, and then it'll open that up in VS Code. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to configure my ESLint and prettier rules. This is always the first thing I do when I create a React app. I really like this one by Wes Boss. He has a really great configuration setup. One of the things I like is that it automatically adds semicolons at the end of all of my lines. It makes all of the tabs inline. So after I add the configuration, I need to add an ESLint file. ESLint.rc file. Great, and now we're ready to go back to the apps. So in my app.js file, I see all of these CSS class names. I see app header, app logo, app link, but I don't know what they mean or what they are. So I'm going to go into my app.css file, and now I can see app logo, app header, app link, and now I can see what the CSS is for those specific components. But just by looking at these CSS class names, I don't know which component is using which CSS, and that's where styled components really comes into play, because I want all of my layout and styling and app logic to all live in one place in my code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the CSS from this CSS file and put it inside of the actual component. Because when I make changes to my CSS, I want to know what it's affecting, and this is going to help me avoid surprises in production. It just makes it easy to understand what's going on because I don't have to go back and forth between the CSS and JS files. So the way you install styled components is you just do npm install-e styled components, and this is going to install the package that you need for styled components. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and import styled from styled components, and this is inside of my app.js file. So now I'm going to go ahead and delete the template that React gave me, and I'm going to put in my own button, and I'm just going to make it a regular button, nothing fancy, and I'm going to say click me. And so now when I go back to my app, it's going to show just a regular button that says click me. There's no styles attached to it. And I'm going to go back and, I think I missed the button type. So I'm going to put that in so it stops yelling at me. I'm going to go ahead and attach some CSS that I wrote, and I'm going to put it directly inside of the component. And what I did was I created this CSS file. I have this new button, const button, and that's what I'm going to add in my return function. So you can clearly see I have my CSS and my logic all in the same place. I know that this button is being used for this component, and I know exactly what CSS is attached to it. That's the beauty of styled components. So now when I go back to my app, I can see this new CSS with this new styling. And when I inspect it, I can see that this is a button with this class, and it says click me, and I can see all the styling on the right side, the background, the color, everything I added inside of the component. It's one thing to have all your CSS in one place, but as your code base grows and you have more components and more styling, it's a really good idea to use styled components because you know exactly which styles is linked to which components, and this reduces confusion later on. Another thing that styled components is really good for is it provides better performance for your React app because your users load the least amount of code necessary for each component. So styled components create and insert unique class names for all of the styles you have, and it's really great for developers because you don't have to worry about using the same name twice or like misspelling things. Like they always say the hardest part of programming is naming things, but like not with styled components. So styled components also make stale CSS code obvious because every piece of styling is mapped to a specific component, and if the component is not being used and subsequently gets deleted, then all of the styles get deleted with it. So you don't have like stale code, and you never have to hunt across different files to find the styling affecting your component. It's right there with the component, so maintenance is just a breeze. If you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. I'm gonna also link to a blog post that has a lot more information, and be sure to check back for our new videos.